Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We are so excited to welcome you to this coaching hour brought to you by this partnership between Milestone Circles and Ingomu. And as many of you already know, we at the Nasdaq Center are a nonprofit improving access and knowledge in entrepreneurship to advance economic progress for all. And so this coaching experience is super exciting for us and hopefully for you as well. So as you will see in the chat in just a moment, the Nasdaq Center provides programs, resources, and exceptional mentorship to help entrepreneurs like you continue to fuel prosperity no matter where your journey begins or is currently. And so check out those links that we're going to be posting in the chat. And then we are going to launch a few polls to step back and take a temperature gauge on how everyone is doing today. And we use this information to guide the programs we provide for this global community of entrepreneurs. And so if there are any specific topics or challenges you would like us to create programs or resources for, definitely feel free to share those in the chat. And just a couple of housekeeping notes before we get started. First, let us know where you are dialing in from in the chat. You can drop it right there, and we'd love to see where everyone is joining us for our time together today. And second, we are going to have live Q&A at the end of the event, so feel free to submit your questions at any time using that Q&A function at the bottom of your screen throughout this presentation, and we'll do our best to get to as many as we can. Now, while you are dropping those locations and connections in the chat, I would like to just take a moment to recognize the incredible support of our corporate partners, and the work that we do at the center would not be possible without the generosity and belief of our partners and funders, including Nasdaq, Wells Fargo, KPMG, JP Morgan Chase, Wilson Sonsini, Walmart, the Narit Foundation, and BPM. We are grateful for their partnership, and we hope you will join us in sharing that appreciation. Awesome. We got folks from all over the place. Welcome, welcome. So great to have you all here today. All right. Now, without any further delay, please join me in giving a warm welcome to our moderator for today's conversation, Al Wynant, co-founder and CEO at Ingomu. Al, always such a pleasure to have you on the stage with us today. Super excited for this conversation, and I am going to pass it right over to you.
Thank you, Michelle. It is so good to be here. I so love working with the center. So hi, everyone. My name is Al Wynant. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Ingomu, and we are a personal development app that deals with coaching and accountability and all sorts of these fun things here. So thank you for having us. We are excited about this partnership with the center and the Circles program. Before I go further here, I wanted to do a very quick little overview of what our partnership looks like and how we can work with us. And then we're getting into an amazing conversation with some of our real coaches. They of course are real, but some of our amazing coaches that you can work with on the app, but they're here today as well to share with you. During the conversation today, we have some really amazing topics that have been, or questions that have been submitted in advance. But if you have any coaching questions as we go through the conversation today, feel free to put them in chat and we can address them either during the conversation or in the Q&A section, as Michelle has referred to. So I wanted to quickly figure out how to share my screen here. If you can give me 1 second. Actually, I'm just going to talk about this. It'll make it a lot easier. So Ingomu, we are a coaching app, and through the partnership with the center, you actually have completely complimentary, free access to this app as you go through your journey as an entrepreneur. The app gives you access to life coaching, career coaching, work coaching, entrepreneurial coaching, wellness coaching, etc. And so there is a process as how we work together. I know the center or the Circles program had sent out an invite for you to opt into the app. So if you've done that, thank you. If you haven't done that yet, look for that invite, and you can still do that with them. You will then be receiving an email from us in the next week or so, or ongoing as you sign up for this, with your invitation to download the app. There's one very specific part that's important here. So is that you follow the instructions in detail. So you'll get the invite, and it will give you a link to sign up. It's not the App Store, not the Apple Store, not the Android Store. It is a form online. That's a page from the center. So you go there first. You put in your first name, your email address, and the code you will receive to set up your account. And once you've done that, you will get a link to download the app. That makes it free to you. If you happen to go to the App Store and just download the app, we can't do that for free because that's done through Apple and Android, and they will charge you. So we don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure you follow those instructions. So as part of that. So let me know if you have any questions, and we can respond to that. You can always email me at al@ingomu.com, and I'll put that in chat later. But I want to give all of the time we have to our amazing coaches today. So I want to quickly introduce you to Theresa Byrne, Anne Trager, Joyce Gioia, and Tatiana Labello, who will be here today. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself real quickly. You know, where you're at, what you coach on, how long you've been coaching. So I wanted to invite Theresa to jump in and do that first.
And first, thank you so much. Nasdaq, how cool are you guys that you're offering coaching to entrepreneurs? When I started my business back in the late 90s, man, I wish coaching was a thing. I could have so used it. So huge props out to you for helping entrepreneurs get what they need to get and go where they need to go. So my name is Theresa Byrne. The Ingomu coaching community I work on is called Boundaries 101, protecting your time, your energy, and your well-being. I'm a mindset coach. I'm a boundaries specialist, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I ran a martial arts and fitness studio for over 20 years in Colorado, which is where I am based, and I'm psyched to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Theresa. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Anne Trager. Hey, Anne.
Hello, hello. I'm really happy to be here. Wonderful. I am on my fifth business, so I've had a little experience in the entrepreneurial world. I am so excited that you're all here. Have so much just appreciation for the sheer energy that people who decide they're going to found a business have, because it is just a wonderful thing. I have my coaching community on Ingomu is called Purpose in Action. Energize, Connect, and Thrive. We really focus on your most essential resources, your energy, your focus, and your optimism. And when you go through the entrepreneurial journey, believe me, those are so key. I have been helping. I have 30 plus years experience supporting leaders across continents and industries. I am calling in from France right now, and I'm really thrilled to be here with you.
Thank you, Anne, for being here. Joyce Gioia, introduce yourself.
Hello. Hello. And I too will third the messages of Theresa and Anne that the work that NASDAQ and uh, the this whole program is doing is really, really extraordinary. I too first was an entrepreneur when I was in high school, when I founded my first business. And I have the privilege of coaching on leadership and human resources on the Ingomu app. Both of those topics are really vital for founders to understand the value of them, because without being a good leader, you're not going to keep your good people. And without keeping your good people, you won't be able to optimize your opportunity. Thanks, Al.
Thank you, Joyce. And Tatiana, last but not least.
Hello, everyone. And yes, it is so amazing to be a part of the NEC. And here at Ingomu, we are here to support you in every capacity. I am tuning into you from Houston, Texas, with over 20 years of experience. I first started out in the health and wellness fitness industry, which then over time created more life coaching and then specifically mindset as well as Theresa. But it's if you've ever had the conversation that it's too late for me, not at this age, anything like that, then my community had you in mind because our community here on Ngomu, it's called Over 50, Fabulous, Fearless, and Free. Basically, we believe the best is yet to come. We are cultivating a fearless mindset, stepping into the freedom to authentically be yourself, which is unapologetic. So we are excited to be here today. And if you have any questions, definitely we are excited to answer any of those questions. Thank you. Back to you, Al.
Thank you, Tatiana, and thank you, Theresa, and Joyce as well for introducing yourself. And if you're joining us here live or in the recording, these are just 4 of our amazing coaches that we have in Ingomu. So when you download the app and you start working with it, you have access to these 4 amazing coaches and dozens of other coaches that you can use for your life, your career, your wellness, even your spiritual goals as you're working in that. So thank you for being here and having the conversation today. So wanted to delve into some of the questions we have received in advance, but also when you're joining us here live, feel free to put your questions in chat of any of our coaches here, and we will address those either during the conversation or when we get to the Q&A section a little bit later on. So the first question I have here, and forgive me if I'm looking to my right here, I'm reading them off my other screen here. So, and for our coaches here, feel free to raise your hand if you want to jump into that. But entrepreneurship can often feel like a series of decisions made in the dark, and I can attest to that. From your perspective here, as a coach, what are the most common moments when founders realize they need support, and what should they do first? So who may want to jump into that? Theresa, go ahead.
The first realization is that you might have some kind of adrenaline reaction. You might feel that, I call it fight, flight, freeze, or freak out. And every entrepreneur knows that freak out moment. And that means that you have gone past your strengths and your abilities into discomfort. And I'm not just talking out of your comfort zone, but the minute that you get into a freak out, it means that new information is needed. It means that it doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean you have to doubt everything you've ever done and every decision, every choice you've ever made. It means that it's time for an outside perspective. I like using the quote, old keys will not open new doors. So imagine you're trying to open a new door and your key doesn't work and you're freaking out. It's time to get a different set of keys. And that's where coaching can come in. That's where having an advisory board or relying on some of the resources that Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center offers, that is the time. So when you're in a freak out, when you're high adrenaline, when you are like frustrated and you start to doubt yourself, that is the time. I always say, don't go into your head alone. It's a dark and scary place. Bring a coach and a light.
Thank you, Theresa. Anne.
Yeah, thanks. That's such a powerful message that Theresa has said. I just want to acknowledge that you are making decisions in the dark, and that is kind of the magic of it. And the first thing that you need to do is to acknowledge that you are doing something really, really, really hard. So kudos to you right from the start. And then to acknowledge that most founders will wait a little bit too long before they actually go get a coach. You know, they'll wait until they haven't met their growth targets or they're running out of cash or something like that. Don't wait. Don't wait. Just go right from the start because you're doing something really hard. And what has gotten you to where you are now is not going to be what gets you somewhere else. Okay, which is what you want to go to the next level. So get out there, find yourself coaching so that you can actually figure out what it is that's going to bring you to the next level.
Great advice. Thank you, Anne. So the next question, and I understand that very well as an entrepreneur myself. So founders are constantly juggling priorities. What advice would you give to help entrepreneurs carve out time for coaching and approach it with intention? Tatiana.
When I started my entrepreneurial career way back in the day, it was a juggling act. And I felt the pressure to show up with perfection, to have all the answers. And what I realized is getting coaching and mentoring and someone that has already been there was huge. It's not, coaching is not just a task on another to-do list. It's a powerful pause that helps you get there faster. So my suggestion, what I really teach upon is that treat coaching like it's an important meeting of the week, because it is. So block off that time, because this will allow you to take that pause, to take that step out from reaction mode and get into reflection. And you can then make aligned decisions that will move you forward. Because when we consistently make room to think, to grow, to recalibrate, we can stop the juggling and moving and running, but we can start leading with a clear vision, with a strategy in place, moving with intention and aligned purpose. Back to you, Al.
Thanks, Tatiana. Now, Joyce, I saw you raise your hand.
I did. I want to build on what Tatiana said, and that is that not only is it valuable to make coaching a priority, but you can add to that by making sure that you allow a little bit more time in your schedule for something that one of our colleagues calls implementation minutes. Jen Nash has a coaching community on the Ingomu app called 123 Debt Free. And this was an innovation that she came up with. And I love it. And so do many of the people who participate in my coaching sessions, because just having information without taking action won't help you to fix things, get better, improve the way you feel, improve how things are going. And the other thing I want to mention is that because as a background, I'm a futurist, I really appreciate what research and doing your homework can be, as far as making you feel like you have something that is called grounded courage. And grounded courage is feeling like you're competent and confident about moving into the future. And when you do research, and research may not just be looking online on the internet, it may be talking with people. Often it is. It may be going to AI, but make sure that you ask for the references and then go seek out the references and make sure that they're real. And all of these things, do your homework and use a coach. That's my best advice.
Thank you, Joyce. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat. If you want to have a specific topic you want to talk about, be happy to do that here. So, and Joyce, what you just said really ties to my next question, the accountability piece of coaching. So, I think so many founders, especially when you start out, you're kind of confused. What's coaching really? Is it coaching? Is it mentoring? Is it workshops? What is it? So what's one thing you knew that entrepreneurs would, what they would know before they get into the whole coaching thing? So what's important for them to know? What's coaching all about? Go ahead, Anne.
Your coach. Oh, go ahead, Anne.
No, go right ahead, because go on. Oh. So I'm going to let Joyce do the what coaching is. And I'm going to put in the word of warning that coaching is not a magic pill. Okay. You got to know that right from the start. Coaching is what you put into it.
Thanks, Anne.
Okay,
Go ahead, Joyce.
I'll take it. So coaching is, and I actually share how to coach with leaders. That's one of the programs that I do as a speaker. And I see coaching, whether it's from a coach or from a leader, as asking the right questions so that you guide people to come to the answers on their own. You know, if we give people all the answers, which no good coach would ever do, then they're just going to be needing us to come back. And I would rather teach somebody how to fish than to give somebody the fish. And I believe that if you learn how to be a coach as an entrepreneur, you're going to be much more successful. And a good coach will be a good role model for you in learning how to coach others.
Go ahead, Tatiana. Thanks, Joyce.
Yes, I've loved what Anne and Joyce said because that is true. And coaching isn't about fixing you, and it's not holding. It's really a space designed to give you clarity and confidence and right in the right direction, but you already have the answers within you. And like Joyce said, everything's inside, but it's asking the right questions. So in our space, in our communities, we give you the challenge to think bigger, but be honest with yourself. So it's about becoming aware, and it's to be able to move into action, to take that inspired, aligned action. So that's really what coaching is about, is finding the answers within yourself. But the coach is kind of like a tour guide, guiding you through what's important to you.
Thanks, Tatiana. I am going to actually ask you sort of more of a coaching question right now. And I'm calling specific coaches around the table here. So one of the things I have learned as an entrepreneur through working with some of our coaches on the app is, when can I say no? When can I say yes? What are sort of the boundaries, which is one of my favorite words I've learned in this whole process, are. And it was a huge struggle for me, and it's still a work in progress. And of course, I see one of the coaches smiling here because she's been helping me with this. But what are some practical ways as an entrepreneur that you can maintain healthy boundaries at work, but also at home, to make sure that you have a life as an entrepreneur. Theresa, I know that's your expertise here.
Oh, I love me some boundaries, and I'm going to give you a different definition of boundaries. It's it's what you want. It's not just what you don't want. I have a little rap song, and this group knows it. It's what you will and what you won't, and what you do and what you don't. What you will and what you won't, and what you do and what you don't. Boundaries are all about asking for more of what feeds you. So think about it in terms of life. There are things that are going to drain us, we have to do anyway. I call that my broccoli or my flossing, right? I'm never going to get up and go, yeah, I'm going to floss my teeth. No, but I need to do it, right? So there are the things that we have to do, and sometimes we're not excited to do. Then there's the things that we love doing. As an entrepreneur or founder, sometimes we eke out, like we push ourselves. We think, no, I can't have fun. I must work. That is the time to set boundaries, whether that looks like shutting off your phone or turning off email at a certain time during the day, taking a lunch break, getting your booty outside, getting movement in. These are the boundaries that seem like fluffy stuff that really help you be who you came here to be and do the work that you came here to do. So how do you know when you need a boundary? You're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, you're drained, you're mad, your patience is at an all-time low, you're impatient, you start yelling at the people in front of you, or you're frustrated. that is when you need a boundary. I said booty. I see you in the chat. That's when you need a boundary, because boundaries help you not just like keep the stuff that isn't working for you out, but it helps you keep the goodness in. It helps you keep all the stuff that you like in, so you can stay in your zone. And oftentimes, especially for early founders, it's like, no, I have to work, I have to push, I have to go, I have to go. It's not going to serve you. That push energy is going to eventually exhaust you. So a good boundary might be just to start your day with, I'm going to take 30 minutes today for myself and do one thing that makes me feel good or fills me up. And I'm going to work. But one boundary, take 30 minutes each day to fill yourself up, to do something fun, to do something you love doing. Start with that. And go to the Ingomu communities, because there are some amazing, amazing guidelines in it to help guide your work, your life, your spiritual balance too.
Thank you, Theresa. So what's the, what's one of the challenges you think that you see founders sort of underestimate in their journey as an entrepreneur, as a founder of a company, and how can coaching really support them in that? Go ahead, Anne.
I think that every entrepreneur I've met, and myself included, absolutely every single time, underestimates the amount of sheer grit and resilience that it takes to make something from nothing. And let's face it, that's what you're doing. You are creating something from nothing. It's huge and really, really, really huge. And this is where I invite you to go back to what Theresa just said about those boundaries and figuring out what it is. What are your non-negotiables? How can you figure out what you need? And what you need is going to be different from what I need. Let's just face it, okay? Everybody's going to have something else. Those few things that you need that are completely non-negotiable so that you can show up every day in and out and make it through the grind. And then when you get that period when it is a grind, because it'll happen and then it'll go away and then it'll happen again and it'll go away and it'll happen again. This is what happens. That's the process of creating something from nothing. When it happens, don't set the non-negotiables aside and work all night long or whatever it is. No, double down on the non-negotiables. If you're doing a half an hour, do an hour. I know it sounds counterintuitive. You're not going to want to do it, but honestly, do it. Double down on those non-negotiables, and it will help you get through the grind.
So true. Thank you, Anne. And so we get the question coming here in chat: since coaches have different skill sets, can you pair with more than one coach? So the answer, as it relates to the Ingomu app, you have access to every coach in the app. So you're not limited to work with Theresa or Tatiana or Anne or Joyce. You can work with all of them. So what the app is really good at, so if you're having I'll put it in quotes here, problem, or you want to work on something, you can put that in the app and it will recommend what coach you can work with. It will give you immediate answers. It will show you sessions to watch. We have live sessions. They're all group sessions. It's not a one-on-one coaching. It's live group virtual sessions. And then it would also give you access to over 1,200 recorded sessions. So if you're laying awake in the middle of the night somehow, thinking about, oh my God, I have to have this conversation tomorrow. Oh my God, I have no idea how to deal with my teenage kid, or you're dealing with some other issues. Even at 2:00 in the night, you can get recommended recorded coaching sessions to watch, but then also get answers, because we have empathetic AI built in who can actually work you through things as well. That's based on real coaching. So you have access to every resource in the app, not just one coach. So that's why we're so excited to have this available. So, excuse me. So, sorry, lifting my glasses to read. Another good question that came in: what are your non-negotiables? Knowing those will help you set a great boundary. Will help you set great boundaries for yourself. Not so much a question, I think, but more of a statement from one of our attendees. So, how about next question here? Let me see here. When as an entrepreneur, We get this. I went through this at the beginning of the year. You sort of hit a space and you reach the ceiling. You reach that plateau, and it could be in so many different ways. It could be a mindset. It could be a growth. It could whatever the issue is. What pathways would you encourage that entrepreneurs sort of to get into to get back into that that place they need to be to move the business forward, so to speak, to life or whatever that may be. Go ahead, Tatiana.
My advice is if you hit a plateau, to not panic, to just take a pause. And then that pause and knowing that this is just feedback, it's a signal to reconnect with your why. I always love going back to the why. What are you building and why are you building? What is the heart? What is the intention and the outcome that you are seeking? So that realignment is really important to if you've hit a plateau, be reconnected with your why and what you're building, and then look at your habits. Did you fall back into habits that aren't giving you momentum and moving you forward? What is your mindset? What's your inner dialogue? And that's why I love the mind so much. It's what we're thinking on. So it's reconnecting with all of that and realizing that in order to get to the next level, you've got to become that person, because what got you to where you are today won't get you to where you want to go. So it's really getting back into those habits, getting it back into the mindset, reconnecting with your power, expanding your perspective, and then moving with aligned intention. That's what I would always go back to.
Thanks, Tatiana. Joyce, I thought I saw you raise your hand.
It's all about also looking at what your payoff is in the new state that you're in, and realizing that it's not going to really serve you. And that can help you to say, no, that's not who I am. One of the coaching sessions that I did a long time ago, a couple of years ago for Ingomu, was on affirmations. And sometimes what you can do is use affirmations to get you out of where you are. Sometimes it's taking a mini vacation, which is taking a walk at lunch, like Theresa talked about. But I really think about it as taking a mini vacation. Go find an art gallery that you can walk through, or an art museum. I know one of us used to live across the street from an art museum. and just get out of the work mindset, the nose to the grindstone. And then when you come back to work, hopefully you will have a new perspective and you'll feel differently, and maybe you can start anew. Thanks, Al.
Thank you, Joyce. Some question came in here I want to address about mentorship. So we are a coaching platform, a personal growth platform. So we don't do one-on-ones and so on. However, I invite our coaches here today, if you want to share your LinkedIn profiles with the attendees, feel free to put that in chat. And then you can connect with them one-on-one. The app allows you to work with the coaches in live virtual sessions during the app, but we don't do one-on-ones. You can communicate with the coaches in the sessions and off sessions, but if you want to connect with one of our coaches and potentially hire them to do something with them, that is between you and the coach. That has nothing to do with Ingomu, but I invite you to share your details there as well. So I wanted to check something that happens a lot. It's a coaching question here. It happens a lot with entrepreneurs. As you start out, you have no money, or you're bootstrapping this thing. You work with teams who do the job of 10 people. As part of this, how do you work with, how do you coach, how do you treat your team to make sure that they don't leave, to make sure they're in it with you and so on. So how do you look at that? Because that's I think a big issue a lot of our that entrepreneurs face as you're starting a business. So what does that look like? Can anybody do a little bit of coaching on that? I thought so, Joyce.
Sorry, I was trying to put in my LinkedIn address. There we go. Yes, keeping good people is my area of expertise. And I have been working in the area of retention since 1993. So it's been a lot of years. And most of the entrepreneurs have, in fact, young teams. And the question is, how do we make sure that we can keep these young people engaged and excited about our business? And the answer is not rocket science, but it's worth investing your time in. What you need to do is to find out what they value and then give it to them. Do they value growth? If so, then make sure that you have training and development and or mentorship available within your organization. Do they need more money than what you can afford to give them? You know, many employers have had great success encouraging people's side hustles because side hustles are not their main work. And clearly, side hustles can be a source of additional money. I know I, for years, had a side hustle. When I was in New York, I used to officiate weddings. And that was a real good source of money for me. And it was only on weekends and when I wasn't doing my full-time job. Is it because they're not happy with their leaders that you think that they may be thinking about looking elsewhere? If so, you want to make sure that those leaders have the development themselves, that they know how to lead. It's very important. The worst thing that we can possibly do is to promote someone into a new position without giving them the skills and abilities and wherewithal to get that job done. And what happens then is that the people who report to them are a problem. They want to leave because people join companies and leave bosses. Finally, are they getting the tools and information they need to do their jobs? If not, you need to fix that. And one more thing, and that is, especially when you're dealing with young people, having a volleyball team or a softball team can go a long way toward helping them feel good in working together. And it's pretty much effortless on your part, and it makes a big difference to them.
Thank you, Joyce. Or pickleball. Everyone does pickleball right now. But me, I haven't gotten into that one yet. Theresa.
Engage the people in your world, whether that is your employees, or I'll even engage the people that I work with if they're doing copywriting for me, if they're helping me. I'll engage them in your mission. Help them understand the why you're doing what you're doing and how it matters. So money is only one form of currency. There's emotional currency. There's buying in. There's belongingness. And even if I work with somebody who is outside of they're not my direct team member, I will get them engaged in what we're doing, why it matters, what it can do. Everyone loves to feel like they belong to something, whether it's pickleball or a team, and figure out what helps to engage people and share that with them. Share that with the people you run into in the bank. Share that with, I'm a small business and this is what I'm doing and I'm so excited about this. Create your little elevator speech about your why and what matters. And you can see I'm pretty passionate about that. And I share this passion whenever I engage with somebody around my business. So you can do it too, just differently.
Thanks, Theresa. Next question is something for all of you. So whoever raises your hand first, feel free how to do this. But, each coach is different. Each coach has a bit of a different style on how they do their thing in essence. So, but how do you tailor your approach as a coach to every business or individual, or to the individual you coach, because they come too with their own individual styles and way they learn and so on. So how do you as a coach, adjust or do your thing to meet what the client is looking for? Does that make sense? Go ahead, Tatiana.
What I remember is that there is a human behind the hustle, meaning that we connecting with individuals and founders from where they're starting from. Some may be scaling, some may be just starting out, but truly listening and listening to where they are, where you are mentally, emotionally, and strategically. And some may need some mindset work. Some may need just clarity and motivation and inspiration, and some need just a safe place to talk out what's the confusion or what unpack all the noise and distractions. So I meet them, I personally, in my opinion, I meet them where they're at. And it's not a preset plan, but it's the presence of being present. And then coaching is all about co-creating aligned with their finding out their identity and their values, and not just goals, but where they are as a person, because the person behind the business, if you're thriving as an individual, your business is going to be thriving. So it's really working. That's why I love personal growth and development and mentoring and coaching, because it's all designed to take you to that next level and uncover what's really stopping you. What are the limiting beliefs behind why you're not moving forward, but to get you on track.
Thank you, Tatiana, for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Tatiana, as well. I am right with you. Coaching is all about meeting people where they are. That's the job. That's what we are all trained to do, is to create that space where somebody can come in, either in a group or in an individual session, and be themselves and we are trained to actually be there for them wherever they are and take them from where they are right now to where they want to go. That is the job. And it's a space of listening, it's a space of focus, it's a space of really deep an understanding on both sides and awareness. And actually, a lot of what I do, at least, is about awareness raising, so that you know where you are because I'm never going to get into your head. I'm just going to help you figure out where you are. And then, of course, we can add, I mean, in one-to-one, you can add all kinds of really cool, there are some fabulous assessments out there that you can do and to bring depth to it, or you can use wearables, and you can use, interviews, stakeholder interviews, and all those kinds of tools exist to add a little bit more information and texture to what we're doing.
Thank you, Anne. Joyce?
I too agree that we need to meet people where they are. And it goes a long way when I can share with my coachee that I've walked in their shoes. And that is not uncommon, because I've lived a lot of years and I've had a lot of businesses. I think this is my 13th career. And it's it I come from a position of having been there and done that, and I am able to relate to pretty much whatever someone is dealing with. And because I have been there, I'm able to ask questions which can help the person gain insights and possibly come to a new conclusion about their lives. I also am not afraid to use neurolinguistic programming to relate with the person that I'm coaching. And that too goes a long way. And I don't feel like it's manipulative because I feel like my goal is helping people. And as long as the reason is okay, then it I don't see it in that light at all. I see it as we're in partnership and we're moving into the future together. And the most important thing is to help people understand, and I'm going back to my answer 20 minutes ago, that without action, there is no movement forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. So twofold question here. So beginning and end of a coaching session. So what do you recommend? How do you recommend that people show up for a coaching session? So what do they need to be prepared for to really get the most out of it? And then follow up on that is accountability is a really big part of coaching. I think Anne said that a little bit earlier as well. So how do you support founders, or entrepreneurs who are in your coaching? How do you support them on the accountability side? Go ahead, Theresa.
I'll answer the first part of the question is how do you show up for a coaching session? Well, coaching is going to be amazing when you hold the space or when you're with people out of compassion and a deep, deep listening. You will come up with whatever needs to come up with. But as a coachee, what is the one thing that you'd like to focus on today? Pick a theme, pick an intention, pick an idea, pick a challenge. And from that one thing, magic can happen. A lot of times we look at challenges or obstacles as if they were the worst thing ever to happen. But the truth is, underneath it is those are magic beans. Coaching is not a magic pill. I think Anne said this earlier, but underneath our obstacles and our challenges are the seeds for growth. That's where the magic lives. And so whatever you bring to a coaching session, kind of zone it in, target it in, and then whatever's needed will unfold. And accountability is how many of you have ever said, oh, tomorrow I'm going to, or yeah, I'm thinking about, or my favorite entrepreneurial thing, I'm getting ready to get started. Coaching is all about, great, what's that one next step? And we'll hold you accountable. You can hold yourself accountable. Okay, what's my one next step? And if one step seems too hard, pick a different step. You can do it with ease. You can dance. I said, take yourself out, stake your booty outside. You can dance. If something feels difficult, shift your energy. Change how you feel about it. Pick the smallest step, the lowest hanging fruit, and that will give your brain energy, dopamine, serotonin, so you can move forward. So you're like, okay, I got this. When I have to clean my office, I hate cleaning my office. It's like being in timeout, filing, yuck. But if I put on good music and I say, all right, 5 minutes, I can do this for 5 minutes. Y'all, it never ends up at 5 minutes. I'm usually like 20 or 30 or an hour later. But that 5 minutes I can do. So accountability is pick the one thing you can do, one step, one motion forward, one way to get out of where you currently are, and always show up with a session, a conversation with an intention. Thank you.
Thanks, Theresa. Tatiana?
Wow, Theresa, she pretty much said it all. And I love, she just gave so much wisdom and just unpacked a lot of things right there. I was actually writing some things down. But just to recap on that, just to add to that, I would come with an openness and a willingness to explore the uncomfortable. Because like she said, when you're vulnerable, that's where the growth happens. And in our sessions, it is a safe place where you can come as you are, feeling however you want to feel. That's what it's all about. And you have the support. And so physically, I have a growth journal, a notebook that I always write things down, because as we're coaching in our sessions, it might spur an idea, a creative idea, or something that, I wasn't aware of that. And you can jot it down, because I don't know if you're like me, but at the end, I'm like, what was that thing I was supposed to do, or that I thought, or so having a growth journal is a great idea. Get in a space where you've time blocked out your time to where you can be present in a clear, undistracted, kind of a quiet place, if that's possible. And then come with an intention. My intention is I really need motivation. I'm struggling today. I need that encouragement. I need that energy to move forward, or I need to find what is my next best move. What is my next small step that I need to take? As Joyce reminds us, is taking the next step. It's small, whatever it is, just take the next step and make sure that you stay into action. And that coaching is not about having it all figured out. It's about being brave. And you all are brave. Otherwise, you would not be an entrepreneur. But it's being brave, be willing to explore what's working, what's not, what's possible. And so just show up with a curious, open mind.
Thank you, Tatiana, and thank you, everyone. This has been a great conversation. Want to make room for some Q&A here, but I will say, as you're talking about the magic of the sessions, I have seen that happen in sessions on the app where we think there is going to be a certain topic on the coaching community for a session, and then with the participants as users in there, they take that session to such an incredible level with the engagement. I love when that happens, and I go to a lot of sessions. But also what I really appreciate about the app as well, because for me, as you know, as most of you know, of the coaches here, you know, I get shiny object squirrel and I will be off. And so that whole accountability, I think, is really important to me. And so what I love about the app now is that it has it built in. So when I work on something, when I have a goal in there that ties to SMART goals, that ties to how I want to feel about accomplishing this goal, it will, on a daily basis, it will give me little nudges about, you know, where are you? Do this, you know, think about this for 5 seconds, whatever it is, like it's based on what you're working on. You know, it has helped me incredibly staying on track and working through my goals. So that's been great, and I hope you all get to use that as well. So, but before we get to that, if you have any questions, do put them in chat before I turn it over to Michelle. Quickly go around the room. You know, thank you to our coaches for being here today and for sharing all your expertise with the participants today, and to the participants as well, and to the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center and the Circles program, and Michelle and Anna. Thank you for having us here today. I really appreciate it. But quickly, want to go around the room with our coaches here. What's one takeaway you want to leave our participants with today? So I'm going to start with Anne.
So my takeaway is dive in, do the work, keep at it, day in and day out. It's a practice.
Thank you, Anne. Joyce.
My takeaway is that your entrepreneurial experience is a journey, and understand that you are on the road. Be kind to yourself, and understand that the people who are there walking with you are the people you need to take care of. And you can take care of your people and they will support you. And when you're stumbling, they will catch you. Just so get that you're not alone. You're not alone because you have NASDAQ, you have us, and you have your people. Thanks.
Thank you, Joyce. Tatiana.
Trust the process. Even if you can't see the full picture, trust in yourself, and just trust it is a process. You don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. Take messy, uncomfortable action. Start before you're ready, because clarity comes through action, and you're not behind. You are just right on time.
Thank you, Tatiana. Theresa.
I hope you can hear it. Got the power.
No,
So, You couldn't hear it. Anyway, each of us is on the planet for a reason, a mission, and to do and expand that which is within us. So you're not alone. Reach out to the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. Reach out to a coach. Find other entrepreneurs, because sometimes it feels like a solo mission, as Joyce was talking about. But each of us is there for a reason. Even the challenges. We're there for a reason. And it's like trusting that process. Thank you, Tatiana. And trusting in yourself that there's a reason that you have I believe we all get the seeds of the dreams to do something with it. And you have something in you that wants to come forward. You have something in you that wants to be birthed. And honor that. Honor that. It is sacred. It is amazing. It is special. And it is you. So find the ways to keep that going in your life when you feel stuck, when you feel drained, when you feel challenged, when you feel down, or yes, when you feel self-doubt, because we all get it. But
Thank you.
just reach out. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you, Theresa. Theresa, Tatiana, Anna, Joyce, thank you for being here, for sharing with us today. I really appreciate it. I am going to say thank you as well to the center and Michelle and Anna for supporting us here. I will turn it back over to Michelle to do your magic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Al, Joyce, Theresa, and Tatiana. Once again, thank you all so much for sharing your unique perspectives and insights. I know that'll really contribute to meaningful conversations as folks start to get into these coaching conversations and connect. So thank you all so much. On behalf of the Nasdaq Center, we are just so thankful that all of you joined us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. And to our audience here, we would love for you to join us again. We're going to put the link in the chat for all of you to sign up for this experience. And so if you haven't already opted in, definitely make sure to fill that out. It should take less than a minute, and then we'll get you all set up with this coaching experience. And additionally, we'll put other links in the chat for all of you to connect with our other resources to help support you on your milestone journey. So that's upcoming webinars, and you can use that view those using the link that's going to be posted in the chat. And thank you all so much for joining us today. We look forward to welcoming you back online with us soon.